Hey, y'all, this is Randall King, and I was born country.
Hey everybody, you're listening to episode number 18 of the Born Country Podcast. I'm your host, Arthur Bourne. I start off every episode explaining that this podcast allows us to take a look back at the great country music of the 90s with the artists who were there and the artists of today in which it inspired. Well, this week is one of those rare opportunities where we do get to sit down and discuss some country music with an artist who I imagine will have a large role in the future of traditional country music, and his name is Randall King. Randall's debut self-titled album hit stores and digital outlets on Friday, April 27th. Make sure to visit the episode show notes at iwasborncountry.com/show18, and I'll be sure to share a link to his new single titled Tugging at My Heartstrings, which I have been absolutely obsessed with for weeks now. Just wait until you hear who some of his major influences are, and you'll have no doubt that Randall is legit. Before the interview, I'd like everyone to head over to facebook.com/groups/borncountryfam, that's Born Country FAM, for the official Facebook group of the show. Join the group, start sharing videos and photos of your favorite 90s country artists and songs. Let's get some conversation going over there. Now, on to the interview with modern neo-traditionalist Randall King. Stick around afterwards and I'll update you on my recent shoulder surgery and upcoming plans for iwasborncountry.com. Enjoy! Joining me on the show this week is rising country music artist Randall King. Randall, welcome to the Born Country Podcast.
Hey, man, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Randall, here at Born Country, we typically spotlight on artists who came up in country music throughout the 90s. So, in the rare case that I welcome a younger artist on the podcast, I like to open the floor to allow somewhat of a self-introduction. Can you tell our listeners who may not be familiar a little bit about who Randall King is?
Yeah, man. I'm a 90s baby, so I grew up listening to that era of country music, and the only thing on the radio for me was ever really country music. And so I grew up listening to guys like Chesnutt, Keith Whitley, and Tracy Byrd, and obviously George Strait and Alan Jackson. But for me, man, I come from a small town, Hereford, Texas, and my dad's a trucker. I come from 4 generations of hay haulers, and they all grew up listening to country music. So it just kind of passed down to me and the family. Riding along in an old Freightliner with my daddy, he'd always make sure that that's what we were listening to is country music. So he grew up, his favorite country artist was Hank Williams. So that's the first person I got introduced to. And then obviously, he was showing me his generation of country music, and then I was getting my own generation of country music. So obviously, the only thing I really know is that type of music, man. That's my genre.
And what better place to start than Hank Williams?
That's right. The founder of country music.
So, do you come from a musical family? Was any of your relatives musicians, or when did you start really learning guitar and pursuing music?
I was probably the only one in my family that really ever sang and pursued music. My great grandmother wrote poetry on my dad's side, and then I had another great grandmother on my mom's side that played piano. So I think it just got passed down that way as far as musicianship and songwriting goes. But I sang from the time I could talk, man. I was just a kid, and Dad would put me they'd take me in the Suburban, and my parents would be riding along, and I'd just sing and sing and sing, and they'd be like, "Randall, shut up for a little bit, quit singing." And about 15 minutes go by, and I'd go back to singing, and this kept happening over and over and over, and then finally they just, "Randall, I know, I'll go to the back of Suburban." So I'd go back there, and I'd sit back there, and I'd sing the whole time. And Dad told my mom, he said, if he don't shut up, we might as well get him a guitar and see what happens. And so we're still seeing what's happening, I guess.
Yeah. Before we get into your new album that releases on Friday, April 27th, I want to talk a little bit about the first single, Tugging on My Heartstrings. I receive countless emails a day promoting new artists and their singles, and while I do my best, it's nearly impossible to hear all of them. Whatever it was that drew me into listening to yours, I'm not exactly sure, but literally the moment I pushed play, I was hooked. What can you tell me about Tugging on My Heartstrings and how it came to be the first single?
Yeah, man. I try to write in my personality with all my music, and that song was a big piece of my personality. I wrote that song with a guy named Anthony Smith. If you're familiar with Anthony wrote "Run" and "Cowboys Like Us" for Straight, and we were sitting there writing a real serious song, and we got in the middle of it, and we just got stuck. And I was like, "We need to get out of here. We need to go take a break. We need to go eat something." But about we'd been stuck on that song for about 3 hours, and we finally came back after eating, and sat him down. I was like, man, I think we need to write a different song. And I've had this song idea stuck in my head for a while, man. I think we ought to just write on it. And sure enough, we started writing, and man, it just flowed. And it probably only took about an hour and a half to write. And it was just one of those songs that it fit both of us, and it just worked. And I love the song to death, man. It was the very first song we recorded in the studio, and it came out great. And I was like, it being the first song we recorded, we might as well make it the first single. And sure enough,
It's
been a good one.
It's very Mark Chesnutt, early 90s honky tonk, which I know listeners here at Born Country love. Based on this song alone, I have to imagine that a lot of the early to mid 90s country, like you said, inspired you in your music.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I grew up listening to Chesnutt and all those guys. I love them, man. I love their music. I still love them. Mark Chesnutt's phenomenal, man. I had the opportunity to open up for him about 4 years ago. And just incredibly nice guy, humble as could be, and went above and beyond for his fan base. And just really, really great dude all around. I love his music. And absolutely, man. This song, I take a lot from Alan Jackson and Keith Whitley, George Strait, even some John Anderson. There's a lot of John Anderson with my music too. But yeah, Chesnutt. I'd say Chesnutt definitely influenced some of this one.
I see the term neo-traditionalist bouncing around on numerous descriptions of your music. Can you kind of let our listeners know maybe exactly what that is, or if you knew where the origin of that term came from, as far as country music goes?
It's what that term means is it's a new take on an older sound of music. So you're gonna feel it's got the feel of the old music. It's just cleaned up, and it's made to fit a little bit of the newer style music. So it's basically it's going to feel like all the songs you grew up listening to and loved, but it's just new. That's all it is. It's a modernized honky tonk sound.
Love it. So with the new album being available on April 27th, what should country music fans be expecting, and how can our listeners get a hold of it?
Real country music, man. April 27th is coming up pretty quick. It's been about 2 years since we released a little EP called Another Bullet, and man, we've been waiting for this for a long time, and it's going to be a big record for us. It's my first full length record, really out of this whole new sound that we've come up with. So it's going to be big. It's going to be kind of flashy, but it's at the end of the day, man, it's me. You can tell within the personality of just Heartstrings alone the type of humor that's in my writing and the fun that's in there. But there's a lot of seriousness within the record, but it's gonna tug on your heartstrings, man. It's gonna make you feel. It's gonna make you cry. It's gonna make you laugh, and it's real songwriting, and there's nothing fake about it.
I don't think country music fans can ask for much more than that.
No, not at all, man.
So I was lucky enough to listen to the album before our chat here. Are there any other songs that really stick out to you that maybe might be the second single or something else that you're really proud of?
I don't know about the second single yet. We're still thinking on that. We're focused on pushing Tugging on My Heartstrings right now. But as far as my favorite song on the record is a song called Keep Her on the Line. I absolutely love that song. I wrote it with a guy named Brandon Kinney out of La Mesa, Texas, and he's a Nashville songwriter now. And we just sat there, and I was like, dude, I'm a big old school country fan, and so is he. And we just worked out this this real country tune, man. And I can't even put my finger on exactly what it is, but it's just great, man. I love the song to death. That's absolutely my favorite song on that record.
So,
and it's actually part of our pre-download. So if you go on iTunes and download my record, you get that song and another song called "Cool Under Pressure."
Very cool. We'll have the link for the pre-order, so make sure to check that out, everybody. If you're listening the week of the release of the album, you have a release show coming up on Friday.
Yes, sir, I do. My home bar at the Blue Light in Lubbock, Texas. That's where everything started out for me.
Very cool.
I grinded my teeth and worked my way into the scene, starting out at that bar on just Monday nights.
Also, make sure to check out the store at randallkingmusic.com. A number of really cool shirts, koozies, and hats are available, as well as the early EP that you mentioned earlier on. Tour dates, get out there, catch Randall on the road. Randall, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Randall King Band. You can find me on Twitter under Randall King Band, and then on Facebook, I'm Randall King. Anything
else that you'd like to plug or mention before we take this home?
No, man. I think you've covered pretty much everything you can cover on about me. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing where the new album takes you, Randall.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, Randall.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
I'm telling you, folks, Randall King is the real deal. Make sure to get his new album on Friday, April 27th on iTunes, Spotify, or however you listen to your digital music. As some of you know, 2 weeks ago, I went in for some rotator cuff surgery to repair a minor tear. While they were in there, they ended up finding a more severe tear in my labrum. I'm in the recovery end now, and I thank you all for the well wishes. It's going to be a slow recovery, but there's a light and comfort at the end of the tunnel. On my time away from my day job, I'm slowly redesigning the podcast website at iwasborncountry.com. The new layout will make it even easier to subscribe and listen to the Born Country podcast. I can't wait for you all to see it. I'll also finally be getting all those concert photos that I've been taking over the last 3 years up for everyone to enjoy. As always, make sure to subscribe, leave a review or a comment. I can't stress how important that is to the show. You can find all past episodes at iwasborncountry.com/episodes with interviews featuring Aaron Tippin, John Barry, Shenandoah, a tribute to Daryl Singletary, and more. Get your Born Country t-shirts at TeePublic through the Shop Now button on the Born Country Facebook page. That's it for me this week. Thanks to Randall King for joining the show. Get links to his music at iwasborncountry.com/show18. I plan on being back next week with another interview with a 90s country favorite, so stay tuned. Thanks for listening. My name is Arthur Bourne, and I was born country. Take care.